Altcoin season has begun. In this video, I'm going to walk us through very specifically just a couple charts, and in those charts will reveal what is about to happen with the altcoin season and whether October is potentially your last couple moments to purchase your special cryptocurrency bags, right? So of course Bitcoin is doing what it is doing right now and pumping to previous all-time highs, and the next thing to unfold once that starts to happen is the trickling down of liquidity into your other large layer 1 caps like Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Cardano, AVAX, those types, Hype, Asta even right now. And with that being said, we can see currently that altcoin season is at 67. We were in altcoin season a couple days ago, but right now we're not. But yet, the most important thing for us to realize is that this is an opportunity right here while we are sitting underneath the altcoin season area on the chart with such bullish momentum to back it, that this is a very, very opportunistic moment to grab and fill up your altcoin bags. I have been pounding back at the likes of Sui, Aptos, Cardano, Solana, AVAX, Asta, Hyperliquid, and a number of others. But my friends, what I can tell you is that I still continue to stack Satoshis, and I don't know what we would call Ethereum Satoshis, but it would be nice to actually come up with a name, but it's smaller Ethereum pieces at this point. Now, with the banter bubbles and the crypto bubbles absolutely pumping, you can see that the likes of Zcash, Pump, SPX have been making major pumps to the upside. Aptos is up 26% on the week. We're going to have a look a little bit later at the Aptos chart. I have multiple accounts, and what I just did with my XRP in this specific account is that I took 75% profits on my XRP, because XRP I think could make maybe another 50 to 60% move from here where we at, whereas Aptos could potentially go 5 to 6x up, and Sui can probably do an 8 to 10x up. Now you ask me, well, what the hell is going on? I'll show you in the charts in a short moment, but it is clear, very clear, that we have begun altcoin season. Otherwise we would not be seeing crypto bags pump like this. Now imagine what would happen beyond the breakout of the all-time high in this zone right here. Once we get this candle, and I mean, if we have a look, we're on the monthly time frame. This is a monthly candle on Bitcoin. I'm going to show you something so beautiful on the Ethereum chart in a moment, so make sure you stick with me and make sure you are currently subscribed to the Crypto Bliss community, because I am constantly bringing you alpha that determines how easy the math is in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto. Okay, so with Bitcoin potentially getting ready to break through this all-time high, October being the best month in crypto is now officially, I think we came down to this level, yeah. October is now officially up 11.6% on Bitcoin already, just this month, eh? Imagine what we're going to do if we're only 4 days into this month, and what we'll do throughout the rest of this month, my friends. With a strong buy candle, we are absolutely imminent at this point to potentially rock to the upside. And I want to add my UT bots. The UT bots told us to buy there. Okay, it's not telling us right now to buy, but we're at that point where it's told us to buy already down here at 90,000 for the pump to the upside. Now let's go and have a look at the following juicy charts. Before I show you the other charts, make sure you're hitting my Bybit link down in the description of this video below. You can get yourself up to $30,000 deposit bonus, and you can come and trade Bitcoin and other crypto assets with me on leverage, on spot. And you can see here we can do leverage, spot, futures, options, TradFi, Web3, and a whole bunch of others. And as I've showed you, I am currently in, these are my bots on my channel. And you can see here that just with these few trades, I mean, it's small money, right? $50, $50, $50, $200, $10, $10, $10. But my friends, have a look at the point is that I'm doing nothing else than putting the money into the places and determining the parameters that these bots trade within. You can see here neutral 3x leverage, $20 investment, now up 7% in the last 7 days. This one is 11 days, up, call it 9.5%, after being down for quite some time. This specific trade, neutral 10x, is now up 25%. This trade is up 25%. This bot is up 34%. The Astra bot is up 6.3%. This AVAX is up 8%, and this Cardano is up 25%, and this Doge is up just kind of at neutral. So the point being is that you can make these bots and allow them to make you money while you sleep, while you eat, while you shit, while you do whatever you need to do, my friends, making business happen, whatever it is. And so I really like this from all of the exchanges that you can find down in the description below, and many others out there that actually now have trading bots, and you can do trading bots on futures, grid, futures martingale, futures combos, spot, and dollar cost average. And as you can see here, my Asta is a spot grid bot. There's different futures grid bots. I have a Nightingale, which is the Solana. The Solana is the futures martingale. So, you know, there's different ways to take trades on the bots as well. Make sure you use my Bybit link down in the description of the video below and get yourself up to $30,000 deposit bonus. Now, let's us move on. As Bitcoin breaks up through its all-time highs, which it is currently like $3,000 away from, my friends, Ethereum will soon follow suit. Now, the most beautiful thing I'm going to share with you in the Ethereum chart here right now, as you can see, is the following. Let us have a look by grabbing our pencil and have a look at the stochastic while it is up here in this zone, okay? And it is currently crossing over, but look what it's done. It's moved up right into the oversold territory. I mean, excuse me, overbought territory. Excuse me, overbought territory. And what you can see here is that at that point, this is the action that is busy happening, right? Now, at that point, if that action is busy happening and we a small pullback there, have a look at currently where we are and what's busy happening. We have had, interestingly so, 2 candles here, 1 red, 2 candles, 1 red, and then massive bullish momentum. We had a return doji candle, 1 candle up, 1 candle red, 2 candles up, 1 candle red. What do you think we're going to do? I believe right now on Ethereum, we're actually sitting at this position with the stochastic in overbought, your MACD in underbought, and all of this now ties back into the area that we're currently in. If we have a look at the stochastic, we're currently overbought. And look at what happened to the stochastic in this time. Only once we started getting to this point here, where we crossed back under the 80 on the stochastic band, only at that point did we actually get the signal to sell. And look at where that left us right here, my friends. That kind of left us in this zone here, right? I would say probably a good place to take profits because that isn't much of a rally. But that's not the point of what I'm trying to show you. The point is that I would expect this to continue to go for the next potentially, let's say, 9 months is the maximum time that we could expect this to unfold. And currently, from where we are now, 9 months across takes us to July next year. Isn't that all ironic? What I've been saying, sell and may go away, my friends. Now, by that time, we should probably be more than double where we are on Ethereum. The previous cycle absolutely pumped up here, 1,600%. What would we do if we were to do 1,600%, my friends? 1,600%. I'm not saying Ethereum is going to do this. Just that's a massive disclaimer. But what's to say it doesn't? Because 1,600% takes us up to a $22,000 Ethereum. The Ethereum rainbow chart. It tells us that in May, let's take it to June, okay, that Ethereum at the red zone, which is the maximum bubble territory, which it hits most often, would leave us with a potential of a $20,000 to $28,000 Ethereum. So I don't see why we couldn't hit those prices in the cycle if that's what history has told us. And history doesn't always give us what will happen. It gives us indications of what may happen. So if we're currently sitting on an Ethereum price of $4,500 today, my friends, we have a long way to go before we actually have this massive sell-off in these assets. And if Ethereum was to hit $22,000, wow, we have that's a 6x on the second best asset in crypto. Now, moving along, this is the total 3, which is the total market cap excluding BTC and Ethereum. Okay, and now this means that this is pretty much all the other crypto assets like XRP, which is 300 billion, BNB 160 billion, Solana 140 billion. So it's all the rest of the other crypto assets outside of BTC and ETH. Okay, so this is telling us that there is very strong buy volume here. Look at the indication here for a buy signal right here. You were told to buy these assets, and now we're going to see a massive explosion out of the previous all-time high, and generally we would see massive liquidity pump into this, potentially up to about 4.2 trillion, and that's excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, my friends. Okay, now this chart is called Others, and Others is the total market cap excluding the top 10. Okay, so it's everything outside of the top 10. So now this is including Cardano, okay, and all the others down below Cardano. What you can see here is the market cap is currently at 316 billion. Cardano, if is included in that, makes up for 38 of that billion, just by the way. So that's 10% of this market cap, just by the way. So this is currently being also quite heavily driven by the likes of Cardano. And I think that we'll see massive, we've got bullish divergence here. So we got up here and down here, and that's why we're seeing a massive uptick. And you can see here that this is a very strong W pattern that is forming a good breakout, probably bring us up to this area somewhere here. So what I would expect us to do now is at least push into this all-time high here at 400 odd billion before we back test this zone and then make the next rally up. M2 is telling us the same thing right now, right? It's telling us there might be a little bit of a pullback before we have this massive pump up, which takes us actually into April of 2027. I'm not sure if we're going to go that far into the bull cycle. I'm just reading the data on the charts, my friends. And if you appreciate that, make sure you're subscribed to the Crypto Bliss community, because this is going to absolutely make you go insane. Crypto total market cap. This is called others dominance. Crypto total market cap excluding top 10 dominance. Okay, so this is all outside, and this is again, this is the dominance of them in the crypto dominance chart. This is all those altcoins that I just showed you from the total from the others chart. This is others dominance is at 7.6%. And usually when we have bull runs, we get into the 12.5 and 20%. So we gradually increase here. And what we can see right now is a slight pullback, perhaps into January, maybe, and then a massive rally up on the liquidity up into April 2027. I don't know if we're going to do that, but look at this, my friends. Look at the liquidity breaks into the next cycles up here. Now, honestly, I would bring this chart down to the daily and use the M2 on the daily to give us a stronger indication. Usually we're about 3 months out, and this is telling us here, I mean, that we do have a long way to go up, even though there might be some liquidity grab coming out of this market at this point. It seems as though the data and the information, especially with Bitcoin dominance collapsing right now, yes, it currently seems as though we may have a pushback up on the dominance and pull us right back up to about 60%, but right now we're only at 59%, so it's really not that much of a difference. And I think the reason that that's going to happen is because the first next wave of liquidity likely comes into Bitcoin, and hence why Bitcoin has actually been making this rally up to the side with volume that does back this move off the bottom here. We did say that this would be a massive V-shaped recovery, and interestingly so, it literally busts its ass through this horizontal resistance level, which is technically the level that you want to constantly look out for. So I would expect this to at the very least fall back down to this upsloping line, or at least back down to the 117 before making the next higher low and then making the next move to the upside, my friends. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, I want to say to you, there is a lot of things that can happen and unfold in this space. You just want to make sure that you know how to position yourself accurately. Right now is a very good time to accumulate altcoins. I'm not telling you what to do with your bags. I'm just showing you the charts and the data that can help you decide what to do and where we're at. Now, this is the total 3, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, and excluding stable coins, right? This is a massive cup pattern, as you can see. In fact, let's draw the cup pattern in here for us. I think this arc. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy, yes. Okay. Now, have a squiz at that, my friends. That's your delicious cup. I mean, I would even say that there's the cup, right? And then there is the handle. Okay. There is the handle. All right. So, cup, handle, breakout, massive liquidity pump into altcoins here, especially with a huge and strong breakout potential on the horizontal, the stochastic pull up, and of course the buy signal here, and of course the MACD pushing to the upside. So we created very strong higher high momentum here. We've created lower high momentum here. Bullish divergence, cup and handle pattern, very strong move to the upside incoming. Finally, we're starting to get into the juicy parts, which I'm sure you want to know. Well, dude, when the hell is my crypto bags going to actually pump? Well, here is that ratio to now discuss. When do my bags pump against Bitcoin? Because essentially you're going to want to take profits out of those coins that you can, either into dollars or into Bitcoin. I've said to you, as much of my coins I can bank into Bitcoin, 100% I will do, my friends. Whatever I can't bank into Bitcoin, I'm going to use to bank into USDT and build up some cash reserves as we go. You can see that we found a bottom here, and look where the stochastic was, look where the MACD was, look where the signal was telling us to buy here. And basically this was a massive move to the upside, and altcoins during this time ended up pumping a massive 4,300% up against Bitcoin. That is huge, my friends. Now just remember that this is the total market cap, total 3 market cap, the one I've just showed you, excluding BTC, Ethereum, and stablecoins, and this is 2 BTC. So I expect us to go from a 35 and at least come and reach this zone up here, and that would give us a 163% move on our altcoin bags up against Bitcoin. Now, the one thing that I need to point out to you very importantly so here, my friends, is that yes, there will be a liquidity pump in here, and yes, there will be a liquidity drain in here. And then once this happens, we actually start to have massive liquidity come into the altcoin space up into 2030. I would expect the total crypto market cap to go from the 4 trillion it is today to a very wild, at least 40 to 80 trillion dollars in the next cycle, my friends. That next cycle probably starts around the December of 2027. Boom. Massive rally into the upside, because sure, my friends, the charts and the data are showing us mad crazy things. If altcoins had to go from the bottom here and give us a 4,200% return like it did against Bitcoin in the previous cycle, I mean, you would expect altcoins to perhaps gain massive share. I honestly don't see us hitting these numbers. Maybe let's go a little bit lower, but that was about 4,400. So that would give us a 12-to-1 ratio, meaning that the altcoins described here would outperform Bitcoin at a 12-to-1 ratio. It's not impossible, but what I do want to show you that the MACD is getting ready at this point. So we do have the potential of that buying power, and this buying power happens to be a lot lower. You can see here, this is a lot lower than it was at this level. So I would expect us to see massive bullish divergence coming into play here, and truly seeing, you can see here, price action lower, but buying action higher. All right, that's telling us that we are expecting massive moves and positions. Now is the time to load up on your altcoin bags, my friends. If you have not yet loaded up on your altcoin bags, I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to miss out on the most insane liquidity grab in all of history. Now, this is the others, excluding the top 10 to BTC. It's doing the same thing, right? I think you can get the narrative on where we're at. This is a massive falling wedge, bullish pattern, move back up there, potentially even beyond that and higher. And lastly, the same thing. I've got 2 more charts to show you. Lastly, this is the total 3, excluding a total 3 ES minus others divided by Bitcoin. Look at it. It's busy breaking out, my friends. Look at this level here. Huge liquidity over the next few years, my friends. And lastly, Aptos, as you can see. Now, that's why I sold some of my XRP for dollars, and then I used the dollars to buy Aptos. Look at Aptos. Aptos is pretty much at the bottom of its chart, my friends. Okay, so I would expect a massive rally, and as you can see, just from here into this massive resistance zone is a 237% gain, or 2.3x. If we were to break beyond that, I would expect Aptos, and look at what Aptos M2 money supply does here. It's telling us on the stochastic, this is way oversold. MACD is way oversold, and the and our indicator here is giving us the buy signal. The M2 is telling us, come on guys, this is rally time. So my friends, with a $4 trillion market cap today, $4.2 trillion market cap today, I would expect another 4.2 trillion to come into this market over the next short little while. And of course, if you have enjoyed the content today, please go ahead and subscribe to the Crypto Bliss community. You know, I've been here hammering out videos for you, but yet I see my subscribers diminishing. I know that this is currently the lowest search history for all crypto and all of those assets, but at the end of the day, if you are part of this community and you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. It really would show some support to the channel and the effort that comes to you from these videos from myself. As you can see, there's no AI involved in these videos. It is just pure alpha data from the flesh that I am, just for you, my beautiful community. So thanks for being here with me once again. I truly appreciate you. Make sure to obliterate that like button if you are still watching. And thank you. We'll see you on the next one.